Hey, it's Sarah here, one of the authors of the 9 Main Causes of Reading Difficulty book, recently released by helpingchildrentoread.com. You can find it on Amazon. It's really great. I just wanted to spend a moment discussing the number one cause of reading difficulty in struggling readers, which is, drumroll, guessing. If you've worked with struggling readers before, you've certainly seen this. It can take many forms. Usually it comes up most when children are reading those common words. So you'll see and, for, from, of, what, was, where, all getting interchanged. Sometimes it is a child looking at the first couple letters of a word and just making a wild guess based on the context or just based on those first couple letters, what that word might be. Sometimes you see those kind of classic reversals like was and saw. Whatever form it takes, guessing is a problem, and it needs to be fixed in order for a reader to really be able to progress to proficiency. So what is guessing, actually, neurologically? Well, a child who's guessing is actually whole word sight reading. They are kind of taking a virtual snapshot of a word, filing it away in their visual memory, and try to then dredge up that memory when they're reading, which is a very unreliable method to approach our English language, which is actually sound-based. We have a phonetic alphabet. When you read, you have to use your auditory processing cortex in the brain in order to have any chance of decoding or sounding out a word correctly. So whole word sight reading is never really going to cut it as a strategy in the long term. It can work quite well in the short term, which is why a lot of children who are highly visual learners start to do that at age 5, 4, 5, 6 in school. And usually they do quite well in the first year of school. They can read those early reader books, which only have a few words in them. They just memorize them and seem to do okay, but reading ability does tend to break down after a year or so, and that gap then only widens between where they are and where the rest of the class is in reading performance, and it becomes a really urgent issue to resolve for them before they leave primary school for sure, and as early as possible. So please dive into the book for more of the neuroscience-y stuff. It's totally fascinating, but don't have time for it in a 3-minute video, so let's get around to the solutions for guessing. It's sort of obvious when you think about it, but what you have to do is find a way to teach that highly visual brain how to decode or sound out words. The best way that we recommend is using Trainer Text Visual Phonics, which you can use for free on the Helping Children to Read site. We have a bunch of downloadable workbooks and flashcards. I'll show you the pre-printed version that you can also get on Amazon if you don't like to cut paper into tiny pieces and laminate it like me. Just to give you an example of what Trainer Text is, I'll pick a couple out. Trainer Text consists of fun visual images which represent each of the different phonetic sounds in our language. So we have the monkey for the M sound, the unicorn for the U sound. There's 45, 46 of them in all. We float them above the words and provide a kind of visual clue to help a learner figure out even a tricky, irregular word. It works incredibly well and is also much more entertaining than frustrating hours of reading practice on the couch at home. So check out the book, check out helpingchildrentoread.com. If you're working with a child who's age 7+ and is really struggling significantly, I'd also recommend the Easy Read system, which is the online paid version of Trainer Text Visual Phonics that gives you a lot of guided support from a reading specialist and also is online, which appeals to children who are frustrated with school and not wanting to do anything paper-based, which feels too much like homework. So I hope that's been helpful. We'll try to put together a couple more videos in this series to explain the other remaining 8 causes, and thank you.